Now I'm working for a client. He has an Allen and Heath 28 channel mixing console with another 28 channel sidecar to it. This is a mixing console that came from the 1970s. It was in the Acme recording studio in New York. I guess some big names had recorded through this board. I've been rebuilding it. I have one of the 28 channels on the bench, and I have it rigged up so I can test it here because some of these don't work. Now, one of the things that I've been doing is I've been replacing the electrolytic capacitors, most if not all of them. These plug-in circuit boards right here are actual operational amplifiers, but they're not integrated circuits. They're individual components on these boards. This is the power in, plus and minus 24 volts, and ground. And this is the main output. And if I don't get any output here, I know that there is something wrong in the channel. Now, it does a lot of intermixing in the board when it's plugged in, so I can't test this exactly the same as it would be plugged in the board. But I do know that with the line control coming in, if I don't get any output here and here, there's definitely something wrong in the channel. The problem with working on this thing is this thing has been modified at least 2 different times. For example, these boards have been added. Now what this is they call these balanced amplifiers, but all they really are is they're 2 transistorized audio amplifiers, line amplifiers, adjustable with 10-turn pots. So basically with an oscilloscope or a very good meter, you balance them by matching them up. You match up the 2 so that both amplifiers have equal output. They're balanced. Same thing with here. So each one of these channels has 2 of these boards put on, and when they put these on, they added wires going here and there. They cut traces. There's no documentation to show what the modifications are. I don't even have schematics of these balanced amplifiers. So this is not this is definitely not an easy task for me. I could replace all the capacitors in some of these that don't work just to see if that fixes it, but that's just not the way to do it. What I'm trying to do is on the boards, on the channels that don't work, and there's not many of them, fortunately most of them do, is I'm trying to trace through to find out where it's not working, so I know exactly what's wrong with it. Now I'm going to power this one up. This one actually works. I'll show you how I'm testing this. I'll power the power supply. It's now on. Then I have my amplifier here, my old Technique stereo amp that I'm using as a test amp. And then I have this real nice TAC tape deck. Now what I'm doing is, here's the input to the amplifier, 1, 2 outputs that match these here, and then over here is the output of the tape deck, and it goes into the line in on this terminal strip at this end. Now I'm going to start the tape, and you can see that I'm passing audio through this board. Here's the line in. Pot's a little dirty, needs to be sprayed. So it's working at that point. And if I switch over to the other output, I should get, and I do. So I do know that this board is working, but I've got several that don't. And so my task is, before I start replacing all these capacitors, I really want to kind of try to determine exactly why they don't pass audio, what's wrong. On some of the boards I already know it's none of these operational amplifiers. I've switched them. I have a tester for those. So we'll see how I do with this.